This is Local 15 Today.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us at Local 15 Today. I'm Kelly Jones.
And I'm Darwin Singleton. Here are today's top stories. Lightning strikes kill 51 people every year in the United States, according to Ready.gov. You're going to hear from a man who was not only struck by lightning, but lived to describe his painful experience.
And several giant oak trees have been cut down near Bienville Square. We're going to see what changes historical societies are demanding the city take for the future.
And a football stadium on campus at the University of South Alabama is one step closer to reality. The steps now underway to make that dream come true for students.
These and other headlines are headed your way, but first let's check in with meteorologist Dietrich Tate for a look at your Tuesday forecast. Hi, Dee.
Good morning, everyone. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Darwin. And temperatures this morning are already well into the 70s. It's 74 in Mobile. You're looking at 75 for Pensacola, 72 for Gulf Shores. And then the dew point temperatures are also into the 70s. Check the visibility. Typically, you will see fog around town when you have the dew points and temps so close, but thankfully it looks pretty good out there. But here's the breakdown. Through 9 o'clock, we'll go with 83, a mix of sun and clouds. By noon, mainly sunny, 89. And then as we head into this afternoon, we're expecting a high of 92 by 3 o'clock, and by 6 p.m., 86. Overall, a rain-free day. A look at traffic into the Wallace Tunnel, looking good. No problems coming in and out of it, heading in both directions. Same deal as you take a look at the I-10 Bayway. No problems to report there. Traffic is relatively light. And here's a view at I-10 at the Daphne exit. Looks good.
We start with our big story this morning at 6 a.m. We continue to work to get updated information on the current condition of a 12-year-old after she was struck by lightning Sunday afternoon in Fort Morgan.
Officials say the girl and 7 other boys and girls were outside playing volleyball when the lightning strike occurred. Officials say the 12-year-old girl was found unconscious, not breathing, without a pulse. Bystanders started CPR on the child until help arrived. She was taken to South Baldwin Medical Center in critical condition.
Local 15 News spoke with one man visiting Fort Morgan who survived being struck by lightning, and he describes his painful experience.
Drained, exhausted. You know, it felt like, I'm sure all of us have felt whenever you got your finger too close to a receptacle. I mean, multiply that times 100, and that's the feeling you get all over your whole body. So I'm sure she experienced that.
Okay. As for the other people outside playing volleyball with the victim, officials say they were checked at the scene. They are in good condition. Lightning kills 51 people every year in the U.S. and injures hundreds more, according to experts at Ready.gov. Experts say Alabama, as well as Florida, Louisiana, and Mississippi, lead the nation in lightning strikes.
Here are ideas to keep in mind to avoid ever being struck by lightning. If you are caught outdoors in a forest during a lightning storm, seek shelter in a low area under a dense growth of small trees. Avoid tall trees since lightning tends to strike the tallest object in an area.
If you're in an open area, go to a low area like a valley or a ravine, but do not lie flat on the ground. Minimize your contact with the ground since an electrical charge will travel across the ground. If you're in an open boat on the water, get to land as quickly as possible.
And keep in mind, it is safer to be in a vehicle than to be outdoors. And remember, rubber tires and rubber-soled shoes provide virtually no protection from lightning. FEMA recommends people follow the 30-30 rule. If after seeing lightning, you cannot count to 30 before hearing thunder, get inside of a building immediately. Don't go outside again until 30 minutes after that last sound of thunder.
Several Historical Society presidents plan to meet next week to discuss how to prevent more oak trees from being cut down in their historic districts. Right now, Bill Boswell, president of the Linecoff Historic District Neighborhood Organization, says he wants oak trees to have protection on both public and private properties. He's asking Mayor Sandy Stimpson and the City Council to make the developer of the new Hilton Garden Inn property pay for replanting the trees he cut. He also wants a new hotel to be redesigned to fit the historic nature of downtown Mobile.
We can have both trees and progress and development. So what we're trying to do is to have the city work up some type of better protection.
Another idea being proposed, raise the fine for cutting down the oak trees from $298 to something as high as $250,000.
They are moving the chains forward on gridiron talks as the University of South Alabama is a step closer to having a football stadium to call its own. School announced Monday they have tasked a group of school leaders to begin a preliminary exploration into the idea. Right now, there's nothing that is certain, but that didn't seem to matter to most students.
My whole Facebook news feed is filled with posts about the on-campus stadium, and it's only been a couple of hours since that press release was put out. So there's definitely a feeling of excitement on campus.
USA officials say the announcement does not mean a decision has been made. Updates, though, are expected to be posted on the school's website, which we've linked to our website, local15tv.com. And just click on the Find Us section, too. Now, coming up in our next half hour, we're going to take a look into what benefits a stadium on USA's campus could bring to the university.
Now to a neighborhood crime alert. Mobile police are warning residents to be alert and aware of their surroundings after two local armed robberies could be connected. The first happened on Springer Drive Friday at 9:19. The second less than 2 miles away on Sperry Road just minutes later. In both cases, the robber was armed with a handgun and took the victim's property. Police say a dark-colored SUV was used in both robberies. Also in Mobile, police are now confirming the name of the man arrested following a standoff after a woman was shot multiple times. Police say 31-year-old Daniel Given barricaded himself inside the apartment after shooting his girlfriend. That all happened at the Twin Oaks apartment on Old Shell Road just before 6 Sunday morning. Police say Given surrendered after a brief standoff. He's been charged with domestic violence. The 25-year-old victim recovering in the hospital. She is in stable condition. Time now 6:06. In your national headlines this morning, police in Connecticut say the search for a missing 7-month-old baby is now a recovery effort. The child's suicidal father jumped from a bridge Sunday night.
The Middletown Police Department has been able to confirm that a 7-month-old listed as missing did enter the Connecticut River last night. The search for the 7-month-old boy is now classified as a recovery.
Authorities say 22-year-old Tony Moreno called another person just before midnight saying he was going to jump from that local bridge. Rescuers pulled Moreno from that water that you're looking at. He's in stable condition at a hospital in Connecticut. Police continue to search for the baby and say that charges are expected. New this morning, 4 boys between the ages of 10 to 12 years old will be charged with arson in that massive Oregon stadium fire. That stadium was built in 1938 and was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It burned down to the ground June 29th. The young men face a variety of charges, including multiple counts of criminal mischief, burglary, reckless burning, and reckless endangering. Officials say a 5th child who was at the stadium won't be charged because he left the area before that fire started. 6:07 right now, and South Carolina senators are expected to vote for a 3rd time today to remove the Confederate flag from State House grounds. State senators voted Monday 37-3 in favor of removing that flag. It was the 2nd reading of the bill. It will have to pass a 3rd time, then go to the House for a similar procedure. Happening today here in Mobile, our city council members are expected to vote on whether or not to remove the national Confederate flag from the city's official seal. The Alabama state flag would replace it. 15 years ago, city leaders removed the Confederate battle flag from the seal and replaced it with the national Confederate flag.
All right, it's 6:08 right now. Stay tuned. Today's weather rating and a look at why it's going to be so hot and dry this week. That's next.
And coming up, we're going to tell you how a local bake-off is helping provide breast cancer screenings for women locally.